This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and Three Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and Three Counts is the podcast dating to the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and Three Counts starts now.
Ooh, what up, though? It's a Thursday. It is Knockouts and Three Counts, and hell, I made it to C29, and the newest member of Knockouts and Three Counts has made his debut this morning. Jaden, welcome to the family, homie. Like I said, it's another Thursday, but we've got a couple of savages for you, man. We've got Kaun and Moses, the other 2/3 of your current Ring of Honor 6-man tag champions. How are you guys doing, brother, man?
Doing good.
Doing well.
Hey, man, so you guys have been on quite a roll. Like I was saying before we went on the air and all that good stuff, you guys can check out, if you see in the corners, all the social media, all that good stuff. I've been telling Shane for a while, ever since he came back, and there's the group now with having Big Bad Kaiju with you guys as well. I mean, you guys are right up in the thick of things over there in Ring of Honor, man, and how's life been for you guys, man? Because I see you guys getting out there in singles and doing all that. How's things been since wrestling's come back from the pandemic?
Great. I have said it before, I say it again. For some, the pandemic was terrible, but for S.O.S. and STP, the pandemic has been amazing. We took advantage of opportunity after opportunity and just continued to grind and continued to take those opportunities and make the best of them. So.
Completely can agree with it. Kaun, what about you, man? I just saw you were doing your thing with our buddies from Pele Pro recently, man. I mean, you guys have been all over the place. Have you guys have jumped right back in with all the stuff from pandemic? Is there any what's the word? Is there any more like excitement now that you're finally getting fans back around with everything being like it was for so long?
Oh, it's definitely exciting, man. Like, to just feel that energy now and show like everyone that all the work that we put in over this COVID period, that shit's paying off. And like, these people really like us. They really fuck with us. And like, STP's here. It's like we don't get enough credit that we're at 223 days as your 6-man champions. I need to be screaming that every single day on Twitter. Like, we're on a historic reign right now, and fans are getting to see that live. So, man, just trying to stay busy, man, grinding.
Hey, I completely respect that. And let's talk about that, dude, because, I mean, Ring of Honor is really full of faction warfare right now. You got you guys, you got LFI, you got the Foundation, and all of them going at one hand. Tell me, what was it that made you guys want to link up with Shane T and Shane Taylor Promotions?
Shane approached us, just being honest. He was kind of like, what y'all got going on? And we were like, not shit. And he was like, cool, y'all want to rock with me? And we was like, yeah, we ain't got nothing else to do. And so then he like sat us down, laid out his vision, and we were like, cool, you know. And a lot of times when you have a guy of a certain stature talking to younger guys, the mentality you would think is like, I say you follow, but he made it clear. It's like, no, this is equal. If you have an idea, or if I say something, or if I pitch something and you don't like it, you think something could be better, like, let me know, let's discuss it. And this is, everybody has a voice. It's not just me talking, everybody follows, which is something when you like truly appreciate it, because like he does, like, he was like, all right, what you think about this? I'm like, well, I don't think that's to be that, because this would be this. And then he'd be like, oh, okay, what do you think? And then like we pitch up to him, he'd be like, oh yeah, I really do like that. So like, it's nice that he listens and like he's open to different ideas.
That's a huge thing in any business partnership, man. Having somebody that you're working with that actually listens and takes what you say to heart and even weighs it in, you know, what the daily matters are. That's a huge aspect.
Big time.
Kaun, so for you, man, I got a question for you, man. So when I was checking out Pele Pro the other week, man, I was getting some serious single vibes for you. So this question really goes to both of you guys. Eventually, you guys have been a good tag team. Actually, me doing my homework, you guys have been a tag team doing your thing long before you got to Ring of Honor. I know you guys were MCW tag team champions as well. And, you know, what are your thoughts on you guys eventually going singles at some point? Is there any like influences that you guys have like for your styles, or, you know, like how do you feel about going back and forth between the two?
I'm honestly all for it. Like, we do have a ton of tag team goals. Like, we've been a tag team since we started this thing. So that's definitely the goal, the mindset here. But like, the reason why I've been wrestling by myself is because I moved to Texas, and like, we trained in Maryland Championship Wrestling for a couple of years. I was like, like with the pandemic too, I kind of felt stagnant in terms of like learning and like having experiences. Like, we would have tapings every so often, but it's just like, I don't feel like I'm really learning at training. We were more so just training the new students. Like, I was kind of done with Baltimore. I'm like, I got to get out of here, move to Texas. So it's
Texas seems to be where it's at right now, dude.
It does.
Yeah,
and like, it was wide open. So I don't know how people feel about that, but there were shows every weekend. They're like 5-6 hours away, but it's just experiences I wanted to have on the road and just drive all over and get these opportunities.
Moses, what about you, bro? How you feeling about singles at some point?
I mean, I take what comes at me. Tag team is what we're doing now. Singles come, singles come. I would like to get out of Maryland sooner than later. Like Kaun, like it just like, so unlike him, like I'm from here. So it's like I've been here my whole life. And so for outside of reasons of wrestling, I'm just ready to go. But I have other factors that's keeping me in the area at the time being. But like, no, man, I'm all for what he's doing out there. I have single shows. I'm happy to see him. I'm happy to see the growth and like him coming out of his shell. It's just a beautiful thing to watch. Like, if you knew the Kaun that started in 2017 versus the Kaun you see now, you wouldn't believe who you're looking at right now.
What are the biggest differences you see, since you know better than anybody else?
Well, he's grabbing microphones and talking at shows. That's one.
I see that.
Because before, anytime a microphone was getting passed, he would hear. He would just hand it to me. But no, like he's not afraid to bring out and to emote and to express himself in the ring, where it's like sometimes people might get like stage fright, where like now it's just like it's no more stage fright. It's just like I'm here and I'm dominant and you're going to pay attention to me. Like, it's just in the second he hits the curtain, like your eyes are on him from the time he leaves the curtain. And then from the time he leaves the curtain, it's like, God damn, I just saw Kaun. Like, it's just like that's just a beautiful thing to see. Like, when he puts everything together, I think that's just it. Like, at one point in time, like he's a wrestler. Cool. He looks good, but now he's a wrestler. Yes. He looks good. Check. He's wrestling his ass off. Check. He's talking and I'm remembering what he's talking about. Check. He's having these dope ass matches. Check. Like, he's checking all the boxes that you want to see out of somebody.
So, Kaun, what led to the gain in experience and the checklist being checked off?
I think just like our experience at the ROH dojo and some of the stuff that we're getting from our coaches, like you hear about it and like you listen to people's documentaries and journeys, like they've traveled the roads. They've done this for 10 plus years. They've wrestled at bingo halls. Like I wrestled at a farm now, like outside. I just kind of want to have that experience. And then when it came to talking on the mic, he would tell you that I'm this person in the shell, and then once you go through the curtain, oh, this is somebody completely different coming out. And I just kind of told myself, fuck it, like I need to stop being afraid and just say what's on my mind. And if I mess up, that's the only way I'm going to learn. So I'd be asking promoters, cut promos, and just wing it, go for it.
I like it. Take the bull by the horns, bro.
Yeah, man,
speaking of that, speaking of horns, you guys have been locking it up, like I was saying, with LFI and the foundation and all that stuff. I mean, what's it mean for you guys to be in an era like we're in right now? I mean, you've got groups like the New Day, you got groups like yourselves, there's never really been a time where there's so many, groups in one spot, number one. And number two, I mean, finally, let's face it and say what it is. It's nice to finally see so many African-American wrestlers getting their spots. I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, anybody who's been watching wrestling and knows what's really going on, it is what it is. So for you guys, what's it mean to be part of a group like STP that's really been, setting the tone, especially in ring? I would say not only in Ring of Honor, but I mean, clearly you guys have been making waves everywhere else. I mean, I saw Shane just said he was getting ready to want to go take a crack with them New Japan boys. So, I mean, what's it mean for you guys to be in a group like that at a time like right now?
I don't think for me it's hit me yet, really. Like I see what Shane says on Twitter, and then like how people compare us to these other groups and these other organizations. And in my mind, I'm still marking out to Big E winning the championship. And I'm like, man, that's so cool. That's inspiring to me. But yet we're on this pedestal still. Like we're here. And people are looking at us at ROH like, those guys are awesome. Like, these guys are winning titles. These guys are well spoken. Like I want to be like them, and we're role models too. It's kind of like I just need to remind myself of those things. Like, oh no, we're on the same like playing field here too.
Like I said, man, it's Corey. What are you saying?
I was just gonna say, great answer. That's one of the things that I definitely admire from people when they do start to gain any type of spotlight and stuff like that. That they try to put their best foot forward, not just I guess what would be considered popular or controversial or anything like that. So I always appreciate, as somebody with kids myself, somebody that tries to put a role model foot forward, I guess you could say.
Do you guys feel any like more sense of responsibility with that? Like with you guys having such a prominent role there and there being other groups like that, do you find like any more sense of responsibility for that?
So like I don't think that like a sense of responsibility and aspect of like having to be conscious about it necessarily is on our mind, because like it's already understood amongst us.
Yep.
Like when me and him were just S.O.S, we were like, yo, they really like they watch us. Like we had already got it. And so then when we got with Shane, and then you slowly start seeing people gravitating, it was like, yeah, okay, like we already understood where we were and what we mean to certain people. And so it was just like understood, like we just stay together, and like you understand, like you are a role model, regardless of if you want to or not. Like somebody is watching, like there's STP. There's Shane, there's Kaun, there's Moses, there's the big bad Kaiju, like there's Ron. Like it's just understood. Like the more and more we started doing things, it was just like, okay, people are watching these guys.
Well, let me ask you that. So for you guys being a tag team, I mean, who were some of the tag teams that you guys liked coming up? Like who were some of the teams that you guys kind of molded your style after?
I think the people that I liked growing up, we didn't mold our style after, because I was a huge fan of the Hardy Boys, and I don't do anything like Jeff Hardy does. I don't want to. But when we came together, they were always telling us about Hawk and Animal, big dominant teams like that. Like, you guys need to wrestle this particular way. Look how big you guys are. You need to wrestle this way, because you don't really learn how to wrestle as a tag team as two big dudes. You just learn how to become a wrestler, and then they kind of facilitate you in a way of, this is how you need to be protected in certain ways. That's who I like growing up, like the Hardys, Edge and Christian, the Dudleys.
Amen, my guy. Me too. I grew up right in the middle of all that stuff. Moses, what about you, bro?
My favorite tag team of all time were the Brothers of Destruction.
Not a bad pick.
I love the Dudleys. I would have to say, but like as I got into wrestling, I fell in love with watching War Machine. I don't think a day goes by where I don't watch at least one War Machine match. I just love watching this stuff. Yeah, I would say like those are my top at the moment.
So I could totally see the War Machine reference. For those of you who don't know the name War Machine, that's Ray Rowe, and they used to be the War Raiders, and now it's the Viking Raiders in WWE. But I mean, I've been a big fan of those guys for a long time, and I can see some of that in your style. I mean, that's as good a way as any to transition to another question I had for you. I mean, where the hell does all this athleticism come from you, man? Because I see you doing front flips off the damn apron and all that stuff. Big dude like yourself, man. I asked Corey when we watched the last pay-per-view, you know, when you guys and all these matches you guys have been having with LFI and the Foundation. I mean, I've literally told Shane multiple times, I'm like, dude, Kaun looks like Kaun looks, but dude, Moses, you've jumped out to me just off the athleticism you got for being such a big dude like that. So where does all the flipping and flying come from you?
Actually, it comes from me like conquering a fear, because I'm actually scared of heights. But I told myself, like, is that going to hinder you, or is that going to make you stand out? So I was just like, F it, just try it and see. And then one day I just went out there and did it, and I was like, oh, it wasn't that bad. We can keep doing this. But like I mean, I played sports. I wrestled in high school. I did Brazilian jiu-jitsu before I started doing professional wrestling. So I know my capabilities and I know my limits. So as far as athleticism, that's that. My dad played amateur soccer for a little while. I guess if that's where any of the athletic in my family comes from, but I'm also the biggest in my family. I'm bigger than both my mom and my dad, by far.
Walking in like, yeah, that's my man, son, and shit like that. Dude, well, now you've got me intrigued. That's a good way to get us off of wrestling a little bit, because our show also covers the fine world of MMA. I also have trained in jiu-jitsu and boxing. I got a purple belt in jiu-jitsu and have fought a few times boxing myself. So tell me about that. You said you wrestled. Do you still keep up with UFC at all, MMA at all?
I watch it when I can. Like when they had that, when they were doing like that Fight Island thing and all the shows were free on ESPN, I was like, let's watch this. That was cool. But like a lot of times when they have their pay-per-views, we like have shows. A lot of times, literally, it'll be like we have shows the same time they have those, and so I just want to watching the highlights and stuff. I love watching knockouts. I love watching guys get tapped out.
I get you. I mean, that's what most people come to see anyway. I had to see, once you said the wrestling card, I had to see if you were checking out what we got to see from UFC 266 this past weekend. I mean, shit, Ortega and Volkanovski were getting down, dude. I don't know what we saw from Diaz and Lawler, but damn, these dudes were getting down on Saturday. Like I said, they could run that shit back next week, and I'll pay for the pay-per-view again.
I'm sure they're both still trying to rest up from that fight, man.
Oh, shit. They ain't going to fight again for at least another 6 months. At least 6 months. Ortega's going to have at least a 6 month suspension, if not a year.
You think?
Well, he came out.
He took a lot of damage.
He came out after the fact and talked about he's got a fractured orbital, so that alone's going to take months to heal. So. Ain't too much you can do about that other than rest up and let your face heal. So.
Right.
I mean, dude, but he was still throwing them, though. But I got to say, that was my thing with that fight, though. I was really surprised at the power that came from Volkanovski, because usually he just pitter-patters guys, but damn, he was busting Ortega up, man.
Yeah, but somehow Ortega was still in it enough, in my opinion, at least, to win the 5th round, which is crazy. Not only did he, like Kathy just said, not only did he keep going, it amazes me that he was that competitive in the last round of a fight. That not one-sided, because I feel like Ortega definitely had his moments inside that fight, but it was definitely leaning towards Volkanovski throughout the main of the fight. I would say his striking numbers were probably twofold, and he was still able to come out,
take him down too.
Powerful performance in that 5th. I was genuinely surprised.
Definitely would recommend it. I don't know what we saw from Nick Diaz. I know he's got one more fight on the card, but we'll have to see how that plays out. But it was hey man, so have you, speaking of which, we were talking about this with Shane because one of Shane's cousins might be fighting for UFC gold soon, man. Bilal Muhammad in the UFC, bro. Like I've been watching homie for a minute, dude. Like I said, he told me that. I'm like, no shit, that is not a connection that I would have ever even thought to put together.
When you told me that, Kyle, I'm like, wait, like cousin, like what kind of cousins are we talking here? Cousins.
And dead ass. And it was funny because we posted that clip of so funny story. We bet on we did a pre-show for those fights, and one of our buddies that's one of the fighters from around here actually bet against Bilal, and I bet on him to win. And so he had to come back on the show and give us his 100 push-ups live on the air because he lost. We had Shane in the comments and everything like, where's them push-ups at, homie? So it was good times. Fucking but that brings to get back a little bit to you guys and wrestling and what's next with you guys. I know you guys are getting ready to go up against or at least it'll be on ROH TV coming up. You're going to be facing Dalton Castle and Dak Draper. Tell me a little bit about that matchup and like what you like, anything that sticks out to you with those guys. I mean, with Dalton having a little bit of the wrestling background and Planet Peacock and all that shit, brings a little bit something different.
Yeah, Dalton is definitely something different, but he does have accolades with amateur wrestling, so that's definitely a style that we want to test out. And of course, with Dak being one of the ROH dojo graduates, I think having us three in the ring to really showcase what we can do and what we've learned from the dojo is gonna be awesome to watch.
I respect that. What about you, Moses? How you feeling about this one, bro?
Yeah, I'm excited. Like Kaun just said, Dak was first class in the dojo. We were second class. So just to see where we've come since 2018 to now. And then we're also going to be in there with Dalton, who is a proven veteran, decorated former Ring of Honor champion. So I'm excited to get in there.
Corey, it looked like you had something to go. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, go ahead. I was just
all right, good. All right, so that brings up a good question. So when you guys are out on the road, I need to know, what is it that you guys are doing to keep yourself occupied? And Moses, why is it trying to find the funniest shit on social media? Because, dude, when I was looking through your story the other day, I literally stopped at one of the at a couple of the damn clips that you posted. I'm like, son of a bitch, dude. Like when when you just see something funny and you just stop in mid-sentence, you're just like, oh shit. Did I just really watch what I watched? Like, man, I swear. So do you get a kick out of like just finding the best memes and just posting them?
I meme, video, anything. If it makes me pop, I'm posting it. I love to laugh. I literally, because Kaun and I were told by someone in Ring of Honor that you all need to get more active on social media. And I'm not really like the person like I don't really like social media too much. And it's like another job having to constantly like do this, do that. I was like, all right, so I'm gonna do it my way. I hear you. So I was like, let me find something that I'm comfortable doing that I can do any time of day. And I don't care if I get a reaction or not. So I just started like, oh, Instagram has now integrated TikTok videos. Okay. Let's start watching the TikTok video. Oh, no, that's funny. Post. That's funny. Post. That's funny. Post. Cool story. I didn't know anything about analytics until I had a conversation with another wrestler a couple weeks ago. And so, and I think I started doing this back in January. And so, every so often, people say, hey, man, I've been watching your stories, and they're just so funny. Or, that video you posted. I was like, I didn't know you was watching that. How do you tell if people watch it? They were like, yeah, if you just look right there, it shows you how many people saw it. I was like, damn, that's has 1,000 views. Or you just click here and it tells you people saved it, people reacted. I was just like, oh, so this is still interaction because people are interacting with the content. I was like, this is all I'm gonna do. I don't need to do all the posting all the time. I can just do this and I'm totally fine.
So, Corey, that's as good a segue as any to tell them about the shit that we started with that fight because of social media. You aren't kidding. I knew what analytics were because I'm always the one uploading everything. But like I said, we cover MMA and things like that as well, which before I forget, I try to do this every time she's in there. Shout out to Kathy. We need to get these guys some STP cups, man, because she has hooked us up with the most badass Yeti cups, as you can see in
Absolutely.
there with the logo
Nice.
and all that. She hooked up my the new little homie with a bottle with his own knockouts and 3 counts deal on it. So shout out to Kathy, man. Check her out at
Shout
Twister
out,
Tumblers,
Kathy.
and shout out to her for the Dye Bar nutrition bars, man. I've been set for breakfast in the morning. I know you guys get down in the gym. You definitely got to check out Dye Bar nutrition bars. I had this salted caramel pretzel one yesterday, and I smashed that shit like it was a candy bar. So, like I said, if you're needing a little tasty snack in the morning, check out Dye Bar Nutrition and all that good stuff. But now that I got all the plugs and all that good shit out of the way, the good thing, the one thing I wanted to ask you about. So, have you guys gotten to check out any of those? Have you guys gotten to check out any of the Dark Side of the Ring stuff?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Boy.
Okay, so with the one that we've got premiering tonight with the FMW episode with Onita and all that, would SOS ever find themselves end up in the death match?
How much?
I would say, how much am I leaving out of there with that night?
How much money?
I think that's fair. That's a fair enough question, dude. What are your thoughts on that with like the rise of deathmatch wrestling? I mean, not that it wasn't a thing before, but I feel like there's been such a resurgence. I mean, we just got back from Chicago. Corey had never been to a major wrestling show, and the first show I took him to, we go to GCW War Games on Friday night, and then Saturday we go there the night before, and then we go to All Out the next night after for All Out. So you got the crash course. So what are your thoughts on all the return of the death matches and stuff?
Yo, it's like a car crash that I don't want to look away from. However, the cutter and the mouth thing, nah, not for me. Not for me. I can't do it.
I feel like the death match might turn into an actual death match.
Like I saw a clip with someone getting choke slammed onto a cinder block with forks, and the forks were stuck in his back. And I'm like, why are we doing this?
I also feel like what job, where do we go from here, right? Because in life, right, like in everything we do, it's like, okay, I just saw this, that captivated my attention. Ooh, I just saw this. That captivated my attention. Ooh, I just saw this. That captivated my attention. Like, how much further are we going to go with these things until somebody just like draws a line?
Limit really be on something like that, you know? Because
correct.
Like Kyle had preference going into this. I'm not the biggest wrestling fan. I lead into the show as the MMA side more often. But that GCW night was absolutely fucking insane. I choose those words wisely. It was fucking insane. The whole night was wild, man. Like, I mean, there was a light tube bat with 8-10 light tubes all twisted together that people were. It was wild. It was absolutely insane. And like you say, how much further can you go from that? I mean, realistically, if you're talking forks jabbing in somebody's back, what are we going to do next? You know, are they just going to...
Well, I mean, we even saw that too. I mean, shit, they stabbed Kogar with what were them? The stakes they put in his head on the top of the scaffold before they threw his ass off the cage through a big old plate glass chair concoction thing that was set up in the middle of the ring. It didn't look like it was a great landing.
No, it didn't look like it felt great. I mean, I can't imagine landing on a plate glass from 15 feet up feels good. It just doesn't seem like that would be.
Listen, I enjoy it. I tip my hat to the guys who do it. Something is going to happen where literally it's going to crash the internet because it's going to be, what did I just watch?
I mean,
I want to know what.
Go ahead. My bad.
No, I'm literally just like, how are we going to keep recreating these moments? Like, they call it death match. Eventually, somebody's going to die. It's bound to happen.
I mean, you're not wrong, dude. You're not wrong at all.
Once one person dies, are we now expecting to see people die moving forward? Like,
well, I mean, hell, look at again, we were talking about Dark Side of the Ring. Hell, did you watch the one with Nick Gage and where he talks about how at the Nick Gage Invitational he got his jugular cut and he's just holding on to the blood like, oh shit, I'm bleeding out. Like that. Yep. I mean, we ain't playing with ketchup and shit, boys. Donald, one of our loyal listeners telling us to check out. I mean, oh dude, that's gonna be a bloodbath. Alex Colon versus Michigan's own Tommy Vendetta. Yeah, that's gonna be a fucking bloodbath. If any of you guys got any questions for SOS, man, throw them in the comments. Like I said, nothing's off limits, man. So throw them out. I'm not scared. But hey, man, so with you guys getting back on the road and things like that, what are your thoughts on Ring of Honor as a whole at this point? And the reason I ask that is because, in my opinion, and I've said this when we had Mike Bennett on, I said this with PCO, I've said it a few different times, which if any of you guys are new here, go back and hit that subscribe button so you can check out any of the past episodes. But I would argue that, in my personal opinion, Ring of Honor has had one of the best pandemic products that we've seen. And I don't say that as in like I mean that as in a whole show. Like, I mean, from the bringing back the Pure Division to what you guys have done with the 6-man titles to, you know, having Roosh have his reign. And then you've got LFI and all these different things and all these guys and girls who are coming back in the ROH women's division. I mean, it's a great time to be in Ring of Honor. Do you feel like, you know, now that we're back out of the pandemic, that Ring of Honor can finally start to restake its claim out there kind of with some of these other big companies?
I definitely think so. But I think Ring of Honor has also always had its own lane. Like you talk about professional wrestling, like we offer the best professional wrestling on the planet. And like you said, this pandemic, like we were able to really just turn into having these amazing matches. Like every taping, every episode is just bangers of matches. And that's what people want to see. They want to see that physicality. They want to see that struggle, that fight. If you want to watch entertainment, there's other avenues for that. But like best pure professional wrestling, you watch Ring of Honor. And we've been rebuilding ever since COVID hit. And like now we're coming out of that and people are seeing the product that we've had on display for the past year and a half. And now they can see that live when we go back touring.
I had many guests throughout the pandemic actually recommend if I was going to watch any wrestling during the pandemic, it was to be Ring of Honor. So that was very high praises, I felt like, for the company as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I figured you guys probably are going to want to see this because there's actually, again, our listeners love to throw things out. Well, now there's been a challenge laid out for SOS here in Michigan, man. So if you ever seem to find your guys way down to Detroit, you know, both of these guys have been all over Paradigm and a bunch of other places on IWTV. But he said, what about when are we getting the Death Threat Army, who are also past guests of this show, Isaiah Broner and Aaron O'Ryan or Tommy Vendetta? You know, they keep talking about them on Twitter. You know, it would be dope to see you guys link up against any combination of the Death Threat Army.
Yo, someone booked the match.
Right.
Mike Blackwell, I know you're going to check this shit out. I know you guys are coming back October 16th. Come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Book that shit. Hey, man, they're calling for SOS here in Michigan, dude. So we're gonna have to see that coming. So how much – that's the other question. So I don't know about you, Corey, but because of this pandemic, I've found myself like going down these wormholes, whether it's YouTube wormholes, whether it's watching a shit ton of football or baseball or anything like that. Are you guys big sports guys when you're not doing wrestling or anything like that? Or are you guys just trying to just chill and have more downtime when you guys are off the road?
I'm a big sports guy. I'm a big football guy. I love the NFL. Basketball, I kind of wait until the playoffs just because they don't really play, in my opinion, that hard during the season.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Soccer. I like soccer. I like it a lot. I like overseas soccer a lot more for obvious reasons, but I will say the MLS has gotten a lot better.
Okay. Dude, I like soccer, but so soccer was the one sport I could never play because I didn't have the footwork for it. I don't mind watching it. It's fun to watch it, especially when it's the World Cup. But soccer was one of those where I just knew. And it's ironic being that I chose boxing as the primary sport that I ended up doing because you have to have footwork for that too. But at least it didn't depend on me having to do some fancy footwork with a ball. I just had to get myself in and out without getting knocked out. Kaun, what about you, man?
It's funny you bring up the basketball thing, because basketball being my favorite sport, that is absolutely 100% the case. It is almost sometimes hard to watch in some of these regular season games because the teams just genuinely don't care unless it's for a playoff push.
Or they're just like the Pistons.
Formulation of every other team having a super team in every division. It's making it hard to watch in some areas for sure.
Donald coming in the comments. He said Mikey Zero and the guys at Mr. Chainsaw are the ones to make it happen. Hey man, they said they're with the smoke. So Donald, I know you're one for putting stuff out on social media, man. I mean, we'll have these guys social media in the description and all that good stuff, man. Tag them on Twitter, man. Let's make it happen. Bring that shit to Detroit. I'm with it. But hey man, before I let you out of here, we got this segment that we got on the show that tends to either be really funny or might get us in a little bit of trouble. But Shane's contributed to this this segment, as well as Congo Kong and Human Tornado and a bunch of other ones. So we've gotten quite a few interesting answers for this one. So we like to call this segment Locker Room Etiquette. Now this could all pertain to pet peeves you've got, things that you would tell somebody when they come in the locker room or anything, because we've had everything from Josh Briggs, who you're seeing over there on NXT. He's talking about bring your own squirt bottle, bring your own wrist tape. We've had wash your balls, keep your baby mama out the locker room. Obviously, all the basic ones like shake your hand and all that good stuff. So if you guys had anything that either pisses you off or any advice that you'd give to a young guy coming in the locker room, what would it be and why?
Something that annoys the fuck out of me is when people ask to borrow wrist tape. There's no borrowing that shit. You're literally just using it and then you're throwing it away. So don't ask me to borrow mine. Maybe you should go buy your own first. That's probably the biggest one that bothers me, because like every time people be asking for that stuff, I'm like, can y'all just prep before y'all come to these shows?
I'm not surprised to hear that one again. We've gotten that one a few times. Moses, what about you, bro?
Wash your shit.
Hey man, that's pretty universal, because we've talked about that on the show, because man, I'll never forget the first jiu-jitsu tournament I ever competed in as a white belt. The weight classes are a lot like wrestling weight classes in jiu-jitsu, like where there's a big weight difference. So I was competing in the 141 to 154 weight class. This kid was at the top end of the weight class. I was probably about 7 or 10 pounds lighter than him. Kid gets me in a triangle, and I mean, now when I say this dude's gi smelled like ass, it was so bad that when we went to go square off before they went to like start it, like I literally almost yacked from across the mat. I'm like, what the fuck did you do to your gi, bro? Like, seriously, what did you do? And then the guy goes for a triangle, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to throw up when he's got me like locked up. So I did the only thing I could do, something that's out of your guys' ilk, being the powerhouse that you are. Not that I'm trying to compare myself to you, but I picked homie up by the gi and just straight power bombed him, and he let go of that triangle real quick. They were like, do that again, you're disqualified. I was like, well, maybe you should have told him to wash his gi. I got a fucking staph infection from the guy. Like, please, people, wash your shit. Like, I will never forget it. It was right before we started high school too, and then I had to be gone from school and everything from it because this guy don't know how to wash his ass. I mean, dude, I can only imagine in a wrestling match. That's got to be smelling somebody's rank thunder from down under, man. Ain't a good time.
Especially with some of the custom kits and some of the stuff these people rock and stuff to the ring. It's like you can't, to wash some of that stuff, I bet is kind of intricate, right? Like you can Febreze it, I guess you could say, but to like really get down and get a lot of that stank out is not going to be the easiest thing in the world. So
what gets a lot of guys like at least air it out, right? Like if you got a show tonight and a show tomorrow, and especially in the summertime, like don't pack all your gear up and just leave it in the trunk to simmer. You don't want simmering. You need to take it in the hotel room or take it home and lay it out, let it air out. If it's simmering, that's bad.
Bro, And the best is when you get in somebody's car that you train with. Like, dude, TJ Ories, I'm definitely talking to you. So if you watch this, I'm definitely talking to you. When we were heading out of the fights, dude, when people would leave their shit in the middle of summer, and you're just like, dog, now your whole car is just killing me at this point. Like, dude, that was something I had to learn the hard way. You, especially in the summertime, you cannot leave gear like sitting there, even if it's just for like a few hours, bro, because that shit will bake. And then once it bakes, you're like in for like twice the funk that you was gonna get the first time.
Seriously, I don't understand people. Even, like, I sweat a lot, so like even packing our stuff to go back to the hotel, I have all my stuff out on top of my suitcase, blasting the AC, just cool that thing down. But people just, I don't like. Why would you even leave your gear in the car? We've had people get their cars broken into and their shit stolen. Like, why would you ever? I don't understand what they're thinking.
Dude, I don't understand it. And like I said, I can't say I know from a wrestling end, but from all the years of like boxing and stuff like that, I just like, dude, I got to the point where I was like, every time I would go, I got to the point after I got that staph infection to where to this day, dude, if I go to an MMA gym, a jiu-jitsu gym, or anything like that, like if I'm going just to lift weights, it's kind of like right around the corner, so I can hit the shower at the crib. But like, dude, at the MMA gym, I cannot leave without getting in the shower because I just, dude, it's something about that funk, dude. Donald coming in the comments, he says he's going to be at ICW and MCPW this weekend, so he says he wants to throw out those matchups out here in Michigan, dude. So we'll have to stay tuned. I mean, I know Shane's based originally from Ohio, man. So I mean, you guys are already going to have some love down here in the Detroit area too. Well, man, before I let you guys get out of here, man, if there's anything you guys want to plug or anything you guys got coming up or anything that you want everybody to know or where to find you at, feel free, dude. Let it go.
Definitely check us out on Ring of Honor TV in 2 weeks against Dak in Dalton Castle. And then social media is The Kaun on Twitter and The Kaun on Instagram.
Yeah, you can find me at Prolific Moses on Twitter and prolific.moses on Instagram.
Well, like these guys said, there's a lot of big things coming, and we've got back-to-back nights like they've got, because tomorrow we will be live again at 9:00 p.m. with Gil Gordado from Extreme Couture. You also might have seen him do his thing over in Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, as well as, helping coach a guy, you might know who he is, John Moxley. So there's a lot to talk about. Tomorrow night, Friday night, 9 p.m. Hit that subscribe button if you already haven't. Hit that like button, the comment button. And if you want to talk some shit, make sure you follow us at KO3C Pod, because, I mean, hey, it'll give me a good time, and I ain't worried. I ain't scared. Donald coming in again in the comments. We appreciate you, brother, man. Corey, you got anything left to say before we let these fine gentlemen home?
No, best of luck in the future. I've liked everything I've seen up to this point, and best of luck in the future, fellas.
Thank you.
Hey, man, like I said, it can't be the last time. When you guys get down to Detroit, whether it's to come tangle it up with DTA or down here with Ring of Honor, we'll definitely have to link whenever you guys are getting down to the Mitten, or hell, if I make my way back out to Pele Pro, which, man, be glad you went out there for Cheat Code, because I was there for their first couple shows. I got stuck in the one where all the snow came and everybody got stuck in Texas. That was I literally made the last flight out of Texas before they shut them all down. Like, I literally called my job from the plane. I'm like, I don't know if you can hear them, but my plane, I've already been sitting on here for like 2 hours, so I'm probably not gonna make it. So
I was actually stuck up here for that too. Like, I was
way.
I got stuck out here, so I had to wait until everything kind of calmed down. But I'm from Minnesota, so I'm like, why the fuck can't y'all fly planes in the snow?
Bro, my point exactly. Being from Detroit,
every building's leaking water. It's looking like a waterfall out of every apartment and building and shit. I'm like, what are you guys building?
Exactly.
Like, what is your materials like down there? What the hell?
Yep.
I've never seen a city get shut down for like an inch of snow. Like, literally, it looked like a dusting. I'm over here thinking in myself the same way like you said with Minnesota. Like, oh my God, if they're freaking out this bad over an inch of snow, if they even got like a mild snow day in what we get in Detroit, these people would like panic. Hey man, shout out to our fans in Texas. Shout out to our friends over there at Mission Pro who we got to sponsor. Dave LaGreca getting his ass kicked by Thunder Rosa. We'll see if he gets his ass kicked again. I mean, I heard she's breaking into people's houses these days. Until next time, and in the in-between time, make sure you check us out tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Until next time, peace.